this video we'll be talking about 3 different methods of performance analysis in 3 different sports. I'll evaluate the pros and cons within the method of analysis for each sporting situation. In addition to this, we'll also be reviewing the best feedback method for each different type of analysis. Let's get started.
For the drive shot, I have used the Hudl Technique app because it is used universally around the world, especially for golf, so it is most suited to this type of analysis and this type of sport. This is because it is only focusing on one person and one movement. In the video clip that is coming up next, I can also use slow motion to break down the technique of a performer taking a golf swing. As you can see at the start of this clip, Johnny's legs are parallel to the ball. This is the correct alignment to the ball and will give him the optimum chance to get a good connection with the golf ball. For a good golf swing, you are supposed to use your body for power instead of your arms and hands. This will prevent you from getting an injury, and also using your body is more efficient as more power comes from the body. As you can see from the video, the performer is mostly swinging his arms. This results in him losing control of the driver and consequently causes him to top the golf ball. At the top of the golf swing, the shoulder needs to turn as close to 90 degrees as possible. In this video, as you can see, Johnny's golf club goes further than a 90-degree angle, and as a result, the club isn't in the right position when hitting the ball. Your leg movement should be limited, otherwise you will lose control of the swing. In this video clip, the performer's leg movement is too vast. We will now move on to the advantages and disadvantages of the Hudl Technique app. Advantages for the Hudl Technique app. The visual aid is good and there is evidence to corroborate the views of the coach. You are able to use slow motion so that you can easily see faults in the technique. You can also draw comparisons of professional athletes performing the same sport. The Hudl app is free and easy to install on your tablet or phone. The disadvantages of the Hudl Technique app. It is time consuming and is not as effective for team sports as it is more efficient when analysing an individual. Although the app is free, you are still encouraged to buy add-ons to make the videos appear more professional. Notational analysis is the study of movement patterns, strategy and tactics in team sports. Successful patterns of play can be identified and used in later matches. It is used most commonly in football. Subsequently, I have gone to a local college football match and decided to collect data for my local team. In the match, I was taking note of the amount of passes played in the final third by my team. Not just this, but I also collected the data for the amount of tackles made in the home team's final third. After collecting all of this data, I added it all to an app called SmartCoach. The SmartCoach app is a platform where you can put data from recent football games and display them in a graph or a table. Not just this, but it also allows you to record statistics for individuals in a team or the whole team itself. We will now go on to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of notational analysis. Firstly, the advantages. My first advantage would be that a team of analysts can work together to produce accurate and correct statistics. Not just this, but data can be compared with averages and previous performances or even different teams. Lastly, the data provided through statistics gives us an objective view. Disadvantages for notational analysis. Full-time analysts usually only work for professional teams. If an amateur team was to invest in buying an analyst, it could cost up to £100. I will now move on to my third and final method of performance analysis. In the video clip shown on the screen, we have a game of badminton being performed by a couple of my colleagues, Aaron, who is closest to the camera, and Ollie, who is the furthest. The camera is in a fixed position so that it can capture the whole of the badminton court, and this is so we can identify every movement and swing played by each performer. I will now move on to the advantages and disadvantages for this specific type of analysis. My first advantage would be that it can catch a wide range of observations from one position and one video. Another advantage is that it can provide us with quality data that other methods are unable to identify. And finally, my last advantage is it supports subjective views, especially by the coach. For example, if the coach made a statement saying that Aaron's length of shots displayed in the video were good, as they were making Ollie have to move back and fall from the net, he could go back to the video and have this point proven. I will now move on to the disadvantages of video analysis. This analysis being subjective is also a disadvantage, as some viewers might believe you have done something which is effective and is benefiting you or your team. On the other hand, some viewers may also think that what you are doing is not beneficial. And lastly, it can be difficult to focus on specific aspects in a team game. Finally, I will now go on to evaluate each different performance analysis method. An efficient thing about the Hudl app is that you can see progress from the athlete that you are recording. As you can see on screen, there are two videos that I've decided to compare, which sees my colleague John taking a bad shot and on the bottom a technically better shot. The first shot you will see at the top of the screen you will be familiar with, as I've already put the same clip in an earlier stage to the video. Through comparing these two shots, you can see the progress in the performer's golf swing. A bad point about using the Hudl Technique app was that you need a lot of training to make the videos appear more professional. Video analysis was also effective as I had a high quality photo which made it look professional. However, we could have had the fixed camera in a high position to capture more content. Lastly, a good thing about notational analysis was that you can observe and compare stats. This then allows you to set goals and show the individual or team where they need to improve. A way we could have made this specific type of analysis slightly better was if we had the funds to buy each player a Player Tech vest, as it would give us more in-depth stats. I will now talk about feedback methods given by the coach for each technique. For video analysis, after games, coaches can bring the whole team into a classroom and talk to them about what they did well in the game and also how they could improve. By involving the whole team, they could all work together on how they are going to play better in the next games. For notational analysis, they can simply use the SmartCoach app to see where they are struggling on the pitch. Then the coach could work out what to work on at the training ground. The coach could also bring the boys into a classroom and show them the statistics from previous games and get the players to do some written work on how can they improve these areas of weakness. For the Hudl app, it is easy to give feedback as a coach to performer, as you can give it to them visually. You can outline with the tool shown on the right hand side of the screen how the player is making the same mistake, which is in this case his golf swing. This app also gives you the option to compare two videos. This is helpful for a coach as you can show the performer in both videos and they will be able to see the progression.
And
I believe that the Huddle Technique app was a perfect way of analysing a goal swing. This is because the Huddle app is better when analysing an individual. Not just this, but it's also better when focusing on one movement. However, I could also think that notational analysis could have worked well with this sport because it could have shown you, for example, the amount of times you'd hit a straight shot and the amount of times you'd slice the ball. For the second method, I use notational analysis for football. There are many websites which give statistics for important games. I think it was suited for this sport because it gives the coach the chance to collect all the data from previous games and to give feedback to the team. However, video analysis would also have been effective, as seen on TV like Monday Night Football with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. This is because it focuses on the whole team, and with the video analysis, the whole team would have been captured. Finally, for the third method of performance analysis, I use video analysis for badminton. In my opinion, this was the incorrect method for this sport. This is because I think it would have worked better with the Huddle Technique, and with this you can then focus in more depth how the individual is moving around the court and how his technique is working effectively or not working at all. However, if we was playing badminton doubles, I think that video analysis was the correct method, because then the Huddle Technique wouldn't be as efficient as you wouldn't be focusing on more than one player.
In this video, I have shared with you some of my views on performance analysis. Hope you all enjoyed the journey.